Welcome friends to today's training session. My name is Martin and I'm going to teach you how to fight one technique at a time. We're going to practice fighting in a way that's not bound to one system or one style, because fighting has no brand. It's about movements, efficiency and understanding what you are doing. Today's combination is going to be with a kubotan, a palm stick, a short device that we use to facilitate stronger strikes. You can improvise that easily at home with a pen, for example, or any other object you can grip in one fist, and it has a bit of an extension towards the lower part of your fist. And the combination is going to look like this. We're going to start from a concealed guard, enter with a block, control with a clinch, strike, and exit. One more time. That's what we're gonna do today, but as always, we settle into the training. Safety first, check in, do you have any injuries? Do you have enough space around you so you can practice safely without hurting yourself or without breaking any of your stuff? And for starting, we are going to do a small mobilization exercise that is both to get ready for today's practice and to limit injuries, and also to check in with yourself. Is there any body part that hurts today that you cannot really move? So be gentle, be respectful, train on your level to get on the best level you can. We're going to start with the right foot, some gentle rotations in both directions. Always do a couple one direction, then the other. And the same with the left foot, always both directions, slow, controlled. Now the same with the knees. The rotations are to warm up the joints for movement, both directions of course. And now the same with the hips, more gentle, easy to get into movement, change directions. When you settle in a standing position, you just turn your shoulders left to right, so your spine is rotating. Couple of rotations with the wrists, of course in both ways. Same with the elbows, the shoulders to the front and to the back. And last but not least, the neck. You look to the bottom, you look to the ceiling, up and down. And left to right. This is not a sport training, but it still goes on your physical capacity. So you maybe feel it a bit, but pay attention to the moves you're doing. You want to learn, integrate our skill set. So for starters, grab your tool in your dominant hand. I'm a right-handed person, so I'm going to start with the tool in my right, but we're always going to switch and do the same on the left. That may feel very weird, but it is extremely helpful both for tactical versatility, to not just be focused on one hand, and also for motoric function. If you train both sides, of course one is still dominant, one is still better, but you practice both. So we're going to start in the dominant hand. Watch out that the longest part is towards the lower side of your fist. Make a proper fist, roll the fingers, thumb next to it. My left leg is leading, so my weapon is on the back side of my position. And I'm going to conceal it very slightly in like holding my own hands position. But I have the weapon, I angle it a little bit, so I'm hiding it behind my hand, and I'm here. So I'm in a prepared position if I'm seeing a problem already arising. Maybe I get it out of my pocket, maybe I grab it from the environment, maybe I have it in my hand. It could be a flashlight, could be a pepper spray, could be a wooden stick like this, or something improvised. And I'm here and I'm ready. Now I see a problem coming and I get hit. That's the scenario we're working with today. So I want to raise my hand to block and at the same time strike and enter. So from here, I'm using my hip rotation to throw the palm stick towards my opponent, and at the same time, I'm lifting my hand to block. This arm is protecting me here as well, and I'm striking, and this arm is just raised for protection. So the first move is going with the right hip rotating forwards, at the same time throwing the right hand forward. It's a bit like a right cross, but it's coming from an angle, and raising the left hand for protection. I'm going to show it to you from each side. At this time I'm not stepping in because if the other guy is striking me, he's stepping towards me most of the time. If he's not doing that, I could probably adjust a bit. We're going to start left leg in front, right hand has the weapon, everything is concealed. I'm standing at an angle but relaxed, and now I'm entering this prepared position. We're going to do this for 10 times. Watch your repetition, pay attention to what you're doing, do it the best you can, and get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Let's switch the sides. So you're grabbing your object now with the left hand. We're doing exactly the same thing the other way around. Right leg is leading, right hand is holding the weapon, concealed, and we're doing exactly the same move from here for 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Now we stopped the first attack coming towards our way and we deployed our first strike. Now we are engaged. The next thing we are going to do, I switched back to my right hand, is block and strike, and we're going to use the blocking hand to start controlling the other guy's head. It could be grab into the clothes as well, or a connection to the arm, but today we're going to do clinch variety so we can facilitate continuous striking to be quite efficient. So we're going to start from here, block and strike, that's exactly what we just did. And now I'm pulling the right hip back. This is to load my weapon for the next strike. And this is also to slap inwards with my hand. It's called a clubbing motion. And I'm going to use it to hook to the back of the neck. I'm going to show you with my right. So we're here, block and strike. And now I'm pulling the hip back and connect here, back of the head, with my palm towards this clinching variety. So my whole forearm is connected and I'm having quite the pull on the head. Strike, drop into the clubbing. And the first thing we are going to do now is just do this clubbing, clinching motion. It's a combination of a strike, slap, and grab, somewhere in between all three of them. So we just did our striking motion. We have the guard high and the weapon in front. I'm going to pull the right hip backwards, load my weapon to a close position, and at the same time do the club. See that I'm having a slight rotation in my arm. I'm pulling my elbow slightly downwards and backwards, and I'm dropping inwards with my body weight. So we're going to start left leg in front, the left arm is raised, right hip is rotated, the right weapon is in front. That's how we ended after the first move. Pull back, clubbing, connect. And of course we're going to do this 10 times each side. Starting with the left. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch. Weapon is in the left, right leg is leading, right arm is raised, left hip is in front, pull the hip back, club with the right. For 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Next step is quite easy. Back to the right hand. We're just going to combine. So we start in a concealed position, block and strike, rotate, club, get ready for the next round of attacks. So it's 1, 2. And it's a hip rotation motion. 1, 2. It's like I'm throwing a right and then a left. I'm throwing a right and then a left. The hip rotation gives you a lot of force, mass multiplied with acceleration. It doesn't really matter what you do with it, whether you strike or grab, whether you strike from left to right or right to left. The force generation is always very similar. So from here, 1, 2. I show you from each side. 1, 2. 1, 2. And it's striking, loading with the weapon, and it's blocking, grabbing with the offhand. For 10 times each side, leading with the left, striking with the right, grabbing with the left. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch. Weapon to the left. Right leg is leading, concealed position. Left hand is striking, right hand is blocking, left hand is reloading, right hand is grabbing. Get ready 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The next thing is a connected strike. We just did the clubbing, loading off our weapon. From here, we're going to pull the other guy's head, his shirt, his hair, his ears, whatever you're getting, or just the back of the neck, like we're practicing here. And we're going to rake the weapon through his face. So it's a short downward motion. Imagine you're having an ice pick and you're breaking some ice. You're not going to do it like this. It's too much power. You want to do it in small motions. This is a hard object. The face is a soft target. If I go very hard and then I'm hitting the skull accidentally, I can have a problem. If I'm just raking through, it's like tearing through in a small but powerful motion, it's quite devastating. But it's also not the hardest attack possible. Maybe I don't want to break a skull. Maybe that's not justified. Just a couple of smashes in the face and that's it. So here we just did this. I'm going to pull from my left and at the same time throw my right hip back again and do the strike here. I'm coming forward, hitting, connecting, raking downwards and pulling back. So it's a circular motion, but I'm leading with my weapon and I'm coming out of my hip. So we have the connection here, we're going to do the strike. I'm exaggerating, it's pulling the left, throwing the right. That is too much. If I'm doing this, I lose control of the head here. So you see I'm still having the back of the head and I'm hitting the face. There's a bit of a distance between my two hands. This is a quite easy motion. Watch the rotation of the hip. Watch that you're not going too low, but I'm staying up here and coming back. And it's push-pull from both sides. Left hand is in the club, right hand has the weapon raised. That's the position we ended in. Pull, rake, exactly the same position where we started at. Get ready for 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch to the other side. Weapon in the left, right leg is leading, right hand just did the club, back of the head is controlled. The left hand is going to do the raking motion with the weapon. Left hip forward, right hip back, push and pull from both arms. 10 times, get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Of course, we're going to combine. That's what we do, right? So weapon back to the right, concealed position. Throw and block. Grab and load, break. Stay in the same position. Those are the 3 steps we did so far. So left leg is leading, right hand has the weapon, concealed position. Watch the hip rotation. Right hip, left hip, right hip. And I'm going to block and strike, load and connect, control and strike. So my hands are doing different kind of tactical functions with the same force generator. Left leg is leading, right hand has the weapon, concealed position, 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch. Weapon in the left, right leg is leading, concealed position. The exact same thing on the other side. 10 times, get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. 2 more elements. And the next one is extremely simple because we just did it. Control and rake. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing all over again. Watch the circular motion. I'm controlling, I'm raking, close, back to the original position, so I can just do exactly the same thing again, and again, and again. I'm not recommending to do too many repetitions, because you either are successful in hitting, why do you hit more, or the situation is changing. But 2 quick rakes is very, very possible. Remember, we're starting from here, this is the position we're raking, it's very fast. That's why the slow rotation and not the super hard strike is powerful here. I have a force multiplier in my hand. I do not need all the power. I'm hitting an object that is either very soft and vulnerable or very hard. And I do want to have this fast-paced surface level strikes. We just extended the clubbing. We did the first raking go back and just do the second immediate. Most important is not to overload. This is too much. You see, I have distance here, my arm is not in an optimal position. If the other guy now jams me, I have a problem. So I'm clubbing, raking, and going exactly back to this position. This arm is very tight to my face. It is really, really hard to get a good control into this position. If I'm like this, way easy. So clubbing, raking, maintain the position, and immediately again. Hip rotation, forward, backward, forward, backward. So the right hip is doing all the action in this case. We're going to start extended in the clubbing. Weapon raised, rake, rake. Do the double move for 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Of course we switch. Weapon to the left, right foot in front, right hand is doing the clubbing, controlling the back of the neck, left hand raised weapon, double raking, get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's bring it together before we add the final piece of the puzzle. Weapon to the right, left leg is leading, concealed guard, block and hit, load, control, rake once, rake twice. That's the thing. From each side. Left leg is leading, right hand has the weapon, concealed position 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch. Weapon to the left, right leg is leading, concealed position. The same thing on the other side. 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Last piece of the puzzle. The guy's entering. We're stopping a strike. We're hitting once, controlling, hitting 2, 3 times. Now we want to exit the confrontation. If I'm staying closer, I either have to do more damage or get better control, because this will not hold forever. So for now, I'm choosing to exit. We have the clubbing, the clinching, raking once, twice. And with the second rake, with the pullback, I'm going to let go of the clinch, push myself out. I'm going to show you on the other hand, I have the clinch here. I'm doing the raking, and when I pull back the second rake, I'm just going to let go on this hand. So the pull back comes with both hands. Now I'm still quite close, striking distance, and there's nothing in the way. So I'm using this to switch in here. My fingers are pointing to my left to grab the back of the neck. I'm pulling still to the left, but I'm rotating my wrist. My thumb is up, my thumb is down. And this is just to facilitate the exit. After I push to his face, I'm going to lower a bit my hand. I don't want to have it this high. I want to maintain distance and see what's going on next. If I keep my hand up high, this is still quite combative. If I still need to be combative, I should not disengage. But if I'm here, lower my hand, have a distance, weapon ready, this is quite fortunate because I could strike if I needed, I could raise it up if I needed, but I'm at a relatively relaxed position. I can either hide my weapon again a little bit, looks quite defensive from the outside. So we're entering, controlling, raking, exiting. Here. Okay, I have my hand in between the other guy and me. For multiple defensive options to keep distance, I have this hand ready. If I have my hand up high, I cannot really strike because my hand is in the way too. So we come from the clubbing, from the raking, with the pullback, push my hand out, defensive position. How do we do this? Here, just do the rake, so we start both hands in front. That feels a bit weird, but we're just going to do the pullback with the weapon, step out with the other hand. You see the rotation I'm doing? And then lower a bit. So from here, and lower a bit. From each side, and then we start from here, and we lower. The pullback of the weapon is important because it combines the two motions and gives you quite a lot of strength. So here to here. This one feels a bit silly just doing it like this, but in combination with the rest it makes a lot of sense. Just go with it. Left leg is leading, left hand is doing the clubbing, right hand just did the rake, pull the right back, pull the left back, defensive position. For 10 times, get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch. Weapon to the left. Right leg is leading. Right hand just did the clubbing. Left hand just did the raking. Pull the left back. Return the right to the defensive position. 10 times. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. From there you have a good option either to disengage, to communicate even if possible, or to re-engage and finish the job if necessary. Let's do the whole thing together. Weapon to the right, concealed position, block and strike, control and load, rake, disengage. I'll show you from here. And from the other side as well, of course. And as a very quick but very effective combination. Left leg is leading, right hand has the weapon, concealed position, the whole thing. Take a deep breath. Focus your mind. Do it in a speed that works for you. Slow, smooth, and smooth is fast. Mistakes come with mindless repetition. And if you want to go too fast, too hard, too soon, that is mindless. So pay attention. Be honest with yourself. Take the level that's appropriate for you today. 10 times, each side, the whole combination. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's switch. Weapon to the left. Right leg is leading. Concealed position. The whole thing 10 times on the other side. Deep breath. Get ready. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. Perfect. Let's come together. Put your tool to the side. Come into a comfortable standing position, shoulder wide, arms relaxed. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. The first is to calm your body and your mind. This is not the most exhaustive of practice, but still you're going to feel your heart rate, you're going to feel your breath if you did it with me. Calm your body, calm your mind. Calm mind fights best. Calm mind needs a calm body. Second breath is for integration. Take the knowledge from today, integrate it with all the rest. Nothing works in isolation. It's about integrated skill sets. And the third is to be grateful for yourself. You showed up. You invested time and effort in yourself to learn something. It was not perfect because nobody is, but it was better than the last time. Be grateful for showing up. 3 deep breaths. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. We get better together every single time. I do these classes live, Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. Join me on my YouTube, join me on my Instagram. On YouTube, you find all the workouts I did so far, so there's quite some stuff by now you can practice for yourself. If you're interested in more training seminars, shoot me a message, let's talk. For everybody in the stream, we're going to do an extra in-depth tutorial today on the qualities of what a Kubotan or palm strike is and how to utilize that in fighting. If you're interested in these tutorials, either join the stream next time or check out my Patreon. In-depth knowledge about all forms of violence. You learn very fast. If Patreon is too much of an ask, leave a like, leave a follow. Everything helps. I'm quite grateful. See you on the next one. Okay, friends, we're going to do a tutorial this time on the qualities of a force multiplier tool that is mostly called the Kubotan or palm strike, palm stick. Sorry. Those are just names. It just is a piece of solid matter that you can grab in your fist. It is not really a length enforcer, length multiplier, but it's a force multiplier. So you hit way harder and it gives you a couple of different options as well. This could be just a piece of wood. This could be a pen. It could be a tactical flashlight. It could even be the back of a blade. It works quite similar. These things are relatively easy to improvise under stress. They're relatively easy to carry with you if you want, and they are, depending on jurisdiction, of course, mostly legal. But every time you utilize an object in fighting and you damage the other person, the legal side gets aggravated. So better be justified self-defense. We're not talking here about legalities of the situation, but it's important to keep in mind. We're talking about mechanics and tactics, how to use it and what to use it for. So let's start with the mechanics. This is a force multiplier. It is a dense object, so you're not hurting yourself, but you're generating more power on a point to the other person. So if I'm standing here, I'm not really hitting with the object. I could probably hit with my fist, but not really with the object. Because this is not an increase in length, this is an increase in impact on target. But I need to be a bit closer. This is mostly done with hammer fist strikes. So if I'm here, I'm hammer fisting, I could also use the object. If I'm throwing straight punches, I have a bit more reach. Of course, you can still utilize strikes like this and then follow up, but mostly what for? If possible, use the downside of the weapon. So you can see I have a little bit up on my thumbs up position and way more on my thumbs down position. So from here, I can do a stepping strike. This is very powerful, but not that deep penetration. And stay back. But if you get this piece of wood into your face, even just in the snap motion, you probably reconsider what you're going to do. Why is the snap a good idea? Because every action has a reaction. If I'm hitting the skull, for example, with full force with an object like this, I can feel it in my hand as well. So maybe I don't want that. Maybe I don't want to damage him as much. Maybe I just want to have a lighter strike. Snap, and I can step back. You can do this from mostly two angles, and then you can be creative. High right to low left, or high left to low right. Remember, the hammer fist is a forehand and a backhand. Of course, you can just snap in the middle as well. If you are going to be creative, you can even do an up strike, but that is very fancy in my opinion. Next option is a dig. Contrary to a snap, so snap is in and out, dig is in. And you see the difference. This is the moment where you probably really damage another person. Depending on the object, if you hit the temples, if you hit the eye socket, if you hit the top of the skull, the back of the neck, you can do really serious damage. But also remember, maybe hands are a target. Here, maybe he doesn't want to play with me anymore. If I just have my own hands, this is possible, but not that vital. But with a tool like this, cracking the fingers, cracking the back of the hand, it becomes really powerful. Another option is the collarbone. So here, I can go down into this. It is relatively likely to break the collarbone with a solid object, especially if you do a raking motion, more on that later. If I destroy a hand or destroy a collarbone, that is nicer to my opponent than destroying a brain, but it also limits his capacity to fight me quite severely. Keep that one in mind. If you want to do high damage target, you can do pokes to the eyes as well, especially if you have something like a pen, because this has some pointy qualities as well. But we're now talking solid object force multiplier. So I have a snap, forehand, backhand, straight in the middle is possible with a snap as well. I have the dig, the full power strike, and I'm always loading back up. So mechanically there's this rotational moment. I'm pushing my hip back and forward, that pushes my hand back and forward. At the same time I'm going to lower and drop. So here is a force generator, here is a force generator. At the same time I can drop my weight into it. And I can do this multiple times in a row. There's one other reason why this tool is quite devastating, because you have a high frequency striking object. Of course you can do this with hammer fist on your own as well, like in a rapid fire style. But if you have an object in your hand, that becomes really, really effective. So we have the snap, we have the dig, and we have a raking option as well. Rake is the point of the weapon, and I'm not trying to penetrate by snapping or digging. I'm trying to rip the surface area away. This really only makes sense towards the face, but there it is really, really effective, because here is very shallow skin, here's the eye, and the same here. So you probably have profound bleeding, a very devastating psychological effect, and if you go to the eyes, very, very effective physical damage as well. If your object is not that solid, if you have a cheap pen, for example, I don't know if this one will take the impact of a skull or of a bone, but I can definitely rake with it and create quite severe bleeding in the face. So we have snapping, digging, and raking, and it's all the same motion. Snap, dig, rake. It's just different trajectories and the question of how I come back. Multiple rotations of the hip allows you to do the strike in rapid succession. I like to imagine a very old locomotive, like a steam engine locomotive. If you've ever seen one of those, they have multiple wheels that are connected by, I have no idea how to call it one in English, by a piece of metal. And this piece of metal is going up and down, up and down. And you see in front I have a big rotation, and at the end I have a small one. It's a bit like a teardrop. One end is pointy, one end is round. So imagine the teardrop. Here is the end of the teardrop, the pointy end. Here's the roundness, and back to the pointy end. So I'm not having a full rotation, that takes too long, doesn't give me any benefits, but I'm starting close and I'm ending close. Whether I'm raking or digging or snapping, doesn't really matter. Same motion. You can use the offhand to gain control. Another tactical advantage of this is you can clinch and fight at the same time. So maybe I have a clinch, maybe I'm grabbing hands, maybe I'm controlling the guard here, then I'm striking. So I can have my offhand in front, control distance, control the opponent, and then strike with my weapon, especially if the other guy does not have a weapon. Or maybe I'm controlling the weapon hand here and want to strike. So I'm protecting my own weapon. That is one possibility. The other one is to have this one as a distance manager tool. Because if I'm here, I have my weapon in front, and I'm using this in a more dual style floating variety in my guard right now, and now he's coming closer. Maybe he wants to grab me in the hands. Maybe he's trying to strike me. I can use this as a blocking option as well, and then follow up, exit again. So there are a lot of tactical varieties. You can do very, very similar things with blocking motion and slapping motion, or blocking and striking motions, but now you have a force multiplier. One tactical option that is really efficient with Kubotan, with palm sticks, is attacking the guard. So if somebody has the guard up, you just smash into the guard. So here, the hands are up, just smashing into the guard in this raking, teardrop style fashion. So either I'm breaking something here, or I'm pulling the thing away, and then can follow up here. Offhand and exit. So you do have tremendous force multiplication. You do have some tactical options that work really nicely in tandem with the normal empty-handed striking. Plus distance control, clinch with the offhand. plus guard destruction capabilities. Everything has downsides though. You need to watch out for that this hand probably is not able to grab something if you need to. Of course, you can clinch a little bit with this, but it's not that effective. Yeah? And you need to be aware of psychological effects of using a tool. We get very tool focused. We're a species that loves their tools. The second I use a tool or I carry a tool, I get very single-minded. Maybe it's not the time for the tool. Maybe I need to drop the tool and do something else. Also, depending on whether it's improvised or low quality, maybe it breaks on impact, something just to expect. Side note, I personally do not recommend to put the thumb here. If the thing pushes back, I can have damage in my thumb. While my thumb is quite strong, the impact of this thing with my mass against the skull is stronger. I rather trust on my grip strength than my thumb strength. And if this happens, then I just lose the weapon. Who cares? I can continue empty-handed, but I'm still having my thumb. If you want to carry something like this, practice the pulling. If you're thinking about something like a flashlight, there's of course different options if I now have light available, but this is not necessarily a quality of the stick itself, so there can be additions. Same for something like pepper spray. All in all, a quite suitable weapon for civilian self-defense, but every weapon has legal, psychological downsides and tactical fields where it's best deployed. Be aware of those, practice with those, have a couple of simple strikes, be safer. Thank you so much for being here. See you on the next one.